Hey guys, it is the real Randy Chavez here, coming at you with such a hot mess right now. I know it looks like I just snorted a whole bunch of coke. So freaking busy. I will resume these scheduled late night videos later. I'm just doing this one today because this early because I have to. Um, Trophy Kangaskhan, what I left off with yesterday. Sorry, this is annoying me. This is gonna. Okay, I dropped my deodorant. Okay, Trophy Kangaskhan confirmed sold for $27,000, and I had to leave this. I had to leave you that tidbit yesterday because I really had to poop. And just to talk about it more in depth today, so we have my PSA 4 that I had, Trophy Kangaskhan, that I had declined $15,000 for. Paid $98.50 for it. It was like 10 grand in January. Declined $15,000 for it right now. Honestly, I would decline 20. I would, just because I believe it's worth. It's should be about a 6, maybe a 7. It's just that little crease on the back that's only visible from a certain angle. However, a 6 did sell for $20,000. Now we have a 7 selling for $27,000. So incrementally going up. The 9 on Heritage Auctions right now, I'm winning at $15,000. Dude, if that's, oh my god, I get like a lot of people in the Pokemon community. They're really just all about eBay and Instagram and some Facebook, but a lot of them don't really know about Heritage Auctions because it's not on eBay, and they're like, oh, it's not public. And I guess it's private auction. I don't know, but with that, let's say a lot of people that collect Pokemon cards aren't on Heritage Auctions. Most people that collect Pokemon cards just are not into trophies. They're just not into they would love them. They would, but it's just so far out of people's grasp. Like at the end of the day, they're children's playing cards, and any stockbroker, Series 767 license, any mutual fund manager worth their salt to be like, no, take that money, put it into this. You'll get 8% on your money each year, and okay, fair point. There's some. I used to do that too with buying the VOO stocks, SPY, just basically buying the S&P 500. You will, on average, get like 8 to 12% a year. Sometimes you'll lose money, sometimes make 20%. But at the end of the day, yes, that is historically goes up slowly, and Pokemon is very, very young, and most people they just don't know. Like the analysts that are sleeping on Tesla, that just don't know. They just don't see the future. They just see, historics and recent, and they're so very short-sighted. And a lot of people just don't know. Like Gary V, from VaynerMedia, Gary Vaynerchuk, he's absolutely exploding on baseball cards, telling his listeners buy baseball cards because he knows. He's been there. He's been doing this for a long time, since the 80s, that he knows that that's where a lot of money is. Collectibles and nostalgia play such a powerful factor. And not many people, I guess, really don't grow up with the trophy cards. You grow up with base set, and you grow up with, whatever other sets that there were in WotC. But Trophy Kangaskhan is something that once you get into the hobby, you know what it is after being around for a while. And it's such a limited release. Even the Prince of Pokemon, SM Pratt, had said, like, no, this is one of the top tier trophy cards, like top 5, Illustrator, Mega Battle, Super Secret Battle, Trophy Kangaskhan. Then University Magic cards probably beneath that, but this just takes the cake as far as artwork, rarity, and I'm going off on a tangent about this, and I will get in sales data in a second, but I feel like $27,000 for PSA 7 is nothing. That it's really nothing for cards that only have 40 something graded copies. Like ever, not just 40 PSA 10 grade. No, that just 40 something PSA copies in general, authenticated by them, give them a grade, and that number's not really going to increase. There's a couple of raw copies out there where people will be like, okay, it's authentic, but like a PSA 1 or 2, and even those, like even SM Pratt, he said that there's any trophy card that's like a 4, it's like damaged, whatever, 10 grand, he'll take it right now. Which is fair, and I'll do that too. I'll match them. If anyone has any trophy cards like that, I will match them. But there is people are sleeping on it. That's just what I'm saying. So estimates what the 9 will go for. I think about 55K. SM Pratt has since said that 80 grand would probably not be enough for his PSA 10. So I wager the 55K would be for the 9. That's my prediction. Again, like 18 days left on the auction. So moving now into the sales data portion, we have Flareon First Edition PSA 9 sold for $325. Jolteon First Edition PSA 9 sold for $386. And then we have a Vaporeon first edition PSA 9 sold for 405. So that ascends a little bit. Um, Evolutions always get a premium because like other Pokemon in the jungle set, Kangaskhan first edition PSA 9 got 208. Mr. Mime first edition PSA 9 got 157. Just they're all not going to get the premiums that Evolutions get. Moving on, Dark Vileplume first edition PSA 10 got $227. Dark Arbok first edition PSA 10 got 207. I think that is a record price point for that Dark Arbok. Normally, the Arboks, the Weezings, the Mucks, they normally don't get a lot of love because there's so many of them. They're very easy to grade. But this record price point, 207, reach the twos. Here comes Team Rocket. This was really interesting because, again, this is one thing. Artwork isn't the best. It has Jesse James and Meowth, which is great. I love that trio. I love them so much. One of the most famous and lovable villains in any type of animated history or history in general, and animated on top of that, they're great in Pokemon. And but again, it's not the best artwork for the Here Comes Team Rocket, and there's not a lot of holo on it because it's taken up so much with those three characters' faces. The holo is very minuscule, so normally this 9 I would have maybe like $50. The third bet was 94. Second bid was 150. Winning bid was 152. So I don't know what the 10 would go for. I thought the 10 would go for this maybe, but the 9 got it. So record price point for the 9. And these top 3 people, they all had good feedback. So it's not like they had 0, but no, they're all good feedback. So multiple people wanted this card at this price. Dragonite first edition PSA 9 sold for $460. To go back to that Here Comes Team Rocket card, or any card in general, all it takes is 2 or 3 people to be able to say, no, I want this card. I have the capital for this card. I will do what it takes to get this card to drive it up. Like that Trophy Kangaskhan PSA 9, if someone doesn't want to pay 6 figures for the 10, they're like, let me just pay half of that, and I'll get the 9. Same artwork with maybe just a little bit of whitening, a little bit of edgeware. People are going to pay. There's multiple people ready to go. And that's all it takes. If they want to complete, even if they just don't necessarily love the artwork and the card, they can kind of give or take. But let's say they needed to complete a set. They needed to complete a set like that Abra, Sabrina's Abra, that common card from number 94 from Gym Challenge. I literally would have paid like $300 for that card because you just couldn't find it anywhere. Luckily, I got it for $100, but that's a common card. You can buy a pack for $150, and I'll grade that Abra. Most likely it'll be a 10. But it's just the time that would take just to not only get the pack, say like a week, but then to send it off to PSA. And one of my things that I sent in January at PSA finally got graded. Got the email, it was finally graded, and I should get it within the next couple months. So it's crazy how you could you can get someone pregnant, they can go through their whole pregnancy, have the kid, and then you still maybe might not have gotten that. And I'm not knocking PSA. They're so overwhelmed. There's so much work that they have to do. No one expected Pokemon to blow up like this, and it just I feel bad for those people at PSA that just consistently having to work long hours, like multiple, and it's just not getting done. Like trying to do what's at their feet, more's coming in the door. It's insane. So I told you Dragonite first edition PSA 9 sold for $460. Nidoqueen first edition PSA 9 sold for $170. Zapdos from the Fossil set first edition PSA 9 sold for $90. Oh, Pidgeot, I love you. From the Jungle set first edition PSA 9 sold for $203. All of the rest of these are going to be first edition PSA 9 until I say otherwise. Hitmonlee sold for $130. Pinsir sold for $162. Clefable sold for $162, same as Pinsir. Would think Clefable has more power, but I don't, whatever. Scyther sold for $280. Electrode sold for $108. Snorlax, all right, so this is a big one. Snorlax first edition PSA 9 sold for $496. This is the second sale we've had in the last couple weeks with over $400 price point. I don't know what the 10 would go for. I would have to say minimum $2,000, $2,500 because, that 5 to 8 range. But the 9s, I guess the 10s aren't that available, which they're not. I think I've seen one the past like 6 months, on eBay sell. So it makes sense that people are just going for the 9s. Vaporeon first edition PSA 9 sold for $405. I said that already. Venomoth first edition PSA 9 sold for $127. Victory Bell first edition PSA 9 sold for $132. Sorry, I'm such a mess right now. And Wigglytuff first edition PSA 9 sold for $173. Now we do have a Zard. Base set Charizard first edition is BGS 8.5. Now, again, normally anything under 9, I usually don't trust BGS to grade, but 3 of the subgrades, basically everything got a 9 except for the surface. Surface got an 8. And the back of the card, you can kind of tell, yeah, all right, this would be an 8 card. Maybe even a 7, but got an 8.5. And we had a couple of bids, 6.7 grand, 7.4 grand. That all makes sense. But then the top 2 bids were 8.5K, which that guy had good feedback. But the 8.6K had 0 feedback. So had that person with 0 feedback not bid, this person probably would have gotten this card for 8 grand. Which, yeah, I would say this would be a little bit less right now. Let's say if the first edition PSA 9 sold for, well, if that sells for 15 grand, the 8 should sell for like 7. And the 8.5, yeah, that honestly does make sense, but I guess because, again, it's BGS and it's below a 9 grade, especially with that 8 surface. Yeah, that's, yeah, and again, this might not translate to a PSA 7. Just that surface alone might give it might not translate to a PSA 8. That surface alone might have given it a 7. But Articuno, first edition PSA 8, sold for $123. That's an 8. That's, and I get it, legendary bird, fossil set, but I don't know what the 9 would sell for. Probably $250 at this point, minimum. And then we have Erica's Venusaur, first edition raw copy that sold. I would have given it an 8 because it had some factory lines on there and a little bit of whitening and edge wear, but really not bad. There's a chance that gets a weak 9. Someone gets a 9 and but it sold for $147. So I think it'll be I think it'll be an 8. And that is that. Again, Trophy Kangaskhan, keep you posted. So we have a first edition PSA 9 gold star, or I'm sorry, just a PSA 9 gold star Charizard on auction right now. It's like 8 days left. That's already at like $2,100. And the last one sold for what, like $2,250 or something like that? Someone correct me on that. And then that first edition PSA 10 Shining Charizard already at $8,200. My fucking god. I don't know what these are going to be. Again, the 9, this will probably set a record for the 9. That it's already a record for the 10. 8,100 was already, because the last one sold for 8 grand privately on Instagram, I guess. So who knows what this is going to be. Guys, I'll see you in like 36-ish hours. So much to do. All right, I love you guys. I love you. Please like, subscribe, share, make Pokemon grow. All right, bye.